Hey guys, Rob with Next Gen Writer here. So today I got the BMW on the road a little bit here in the Philippines. I rode it down to the LTO and got it registered. So now it's time to ride. Only been testing the Chigee here in the neighborhood a little bit, and I'm excited to get it out on the roads and see what it can do. But today I want to talk about the cameras. What you need to know. They are very good, and let me show you why. So let's go to the computer. Okay, so let's take a look here. What I have in this folder are basically 6 files that represent roughly the same 3-minute recording. 4 files are associated with the Alien Writer and 2 files are associated with the Chigee, and I'll explain that here in a second. Let me back up and talk about the camera systems. So the Chigee uses a Novatech camera that's capable of 60 frames per second recording. I don't know anything about their image processing chip. And then the Alien Writer uses a Sony IMX307 configured for 30 frames per second recording. They're both 1920 by 1080. So the nice thing about the Chigee is that it records and encodes directly to MP4 format. So your video files on your SD card are already MP4. You can pull your SD card out and you're good to go with MP4 files. On the Alien Writer, it encodes and records to TS file format. So what happens is you use the Moto DVR app and you pull the file off of the SD card and bring it over to your mobile device, and then it gets converted to MP4 format. And the native recording for Alien Writer here in Asia is like 29.97. I think their US models give a true 30 frames per second recording, but when it undergoes that conversion you have some frame loss and then you end up around 25 frames per second. Now the same thing happens with a Chigee. So when you look at your MP4 files, they're for 60 frames per second recording, you're going to land around 58 frames per second. So that's why you see 4 files for the Alien Writer, because I have the 2 original TS files, and then I have the converted MP4 files. For Chigee, everything's already MP4 and you're done. Now this file information here, just standard file information, you can see the file sizes. So the Alien Writer file sizes for 3 minutes is around 180, 190 meg. The Chigees are around 470. You have a little bit of difference in the audio encoding bit rate. They do a bit more encoding or a bit better audio quality as far as an encoding standpoint on the Alien Writer, but there's a lot that goes into that. You can talk about the quality of the mic, so who knows who has better audio, and I don't think anybody really cares about audio on a dash cam recording. Now what's important to understand is the video data rate. So you can see here that the Alien Writer files are all just a bit over 8,000 kilobits per second, and the Chigee is just over 19,000. Now that is an indicator of video quality. Generally, the higher the data rate, all other things being equal, higher data rate basically says better video quality because you have more data per second generating the image. But there's some caveats to that. So for the Chigee running 60 frames per second, it's going to naturally double the data rate because you have twice as many frames per second. And for the Alien Writer, it's half that. Generally, that should track. Now, our values don't really reflect that, and there's another consideration as well. The Alien Writer uses H.264 encoding, so it's a little bit older encoding technology, and the Chigee uses H.265 encoding. So H.265 encoding, so for the same video quality, is going to require about 40 to 50% less data. So if you think about it, those things tend to kind of cancel each other out. So you have a data increase of 50% because you're doubling the bit rate, but then you have the efficiency of the encoding, H.265, which gives you 40 to 50% less data. So in this situation, all other things being equal, we should land at roughly the same data rate for video quality. If we're trying to achieve the same video quality between these two camera systems, because one's running 60 frames per second and the other one is running the older encoding. But that's not what we have. We have just over 8,000 kilobits per second for the Alien Writer and over 19,000. So that tells you that you would expect the video quality to be much better on the Chigee, and it is. So now let's go and take a look at some video. So here's the Alien Writer. I did kind of some pauses at roughly the same place in the video from my ride. So here we got a Kia, try to get some color in there. You can see the plate here. You can make out the plate, but it's not super sharp. We have a person here walking in the background. Not the greatest resolution there. And you can see a little bit of artifacting here on this video. Now I'll jump over. So that file is the TS file. So this is the raw file that would be 29.97 frames per second from the Alien Writer. And then we'll jump over here, and now actually this is the Chigee. So now you can see things are a little bit sharper. The plate's sharper, and even the image in the background is a little bit sharper and much fewer artifacts. The recording system seemed to want to artifact on the road, at least in my experience with the writing system that I've used. The video or the content and nearest to the sensor moving is where it struggles the most. And then we'll come over here. This is the Alien Writer MP4 file, so slightly lower frame rate. And even now the artifacting here is just a bit more pronounced. I don't know if you can, hopefully it'll resolve when I publish this video, but you can see all these squares here, like that digital camo effect down here in the near part of the frame. And then I wanted to show you severe artifacting. This is on the Alien Writer, and sometimes it just gets really bad, and I just selected a frame here that kind of shows you some severe artifacts with the Alien Writer. Now on the Chigee, I'll play this. It is just solid. You can stop this thing anywhere. And now we'll back up. I'll show you. And this lady comes into frame, and it's just, she's really sharp. You can see her. And I'll come up here. And I'm going to stop the video here because this is a good place to demonstrate the color differences. So we'll go over here. I'll go to the TS file. We'll play forward. There's artifacting. And then we'll come to about the same place, and we'll stop. And you can see a huge difference in the colors. And I'll tell you that this is reality. This is real life right here. This is what things look like on the road. And oops, let's jump over here. This is not the real deal. This is some kind of weird coloring that Alien Writer uses. Maybe it makes the image look nicer. I don't know, but it's not reality. So I gotta give a big thumbs up to Chigee. The cameras are fantastic, and like I said, I played through these and looked for even a hint of artifacting. So here, this is a road where, it's just in the lower portion down here, you can see it's just a mass with, typical markings of the road here in the Philippines, and it's resolved nicely. It looks good, and you can just play this thing and stop anywhere and get a quality 1920 by 1080 image. We'll run up and catch this writer here. We'll stop, clear. Now we're not going to read that plate, but that's not the type of resolution that's being delivered. These aren't 4K security cameras. So we get up a little closer. Maybe. But the Chigee cameras just work really, really well. So I'm going to upgrade my SD card to 256 gigabyte SD card in the Chigee so I can capture as much of this video as possible and figure out a strategy. So here we have kind of the light shimmering, and it's just not bothering the cameras at all, riding through here. Very, very good quality cameras. And I was a little concerned because I don't know anything about the Novatech CMOS image sensor. Never really heard of them. But evidently they make a pretty darn good image sensor, because this is very good quality. So there you have it, my two cents here. Next Gen Writer, a huge thumbs up to Chigee on the camera system. Very, very happy with it. I've never bothered to use footage from my dash cam before because it was never very good, to be honest. And now I think I might consider it. This is pretty good video. Anyway, thanks for watching.